Welcome back to the VIP Vision channel. We've already covered how to pick a winning topic and how to choose your research method in this Public Health Research Mastery series. But today, we're tackling the absolute biggest mistake I see students and health professionals make when launching a study. We're going to build the ultimate mentor's guide to formulating a bulletproof research question and, most importantly, help you avoid those dreaded desk rejections.
Okay, let's dive right in. So what? Yeah, I know, it sounds a bit blunt, right? But if there's literally one thing you take away today, it's this simple two-word question. This is the ultimate filter that journal editors, peer reviewers, and funding committees are using to evaluate your new work. Honestly, most reviewers will judge whether your research passes this test within like 30 seconds of reading your thesis statement.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the so what test. Second, finding your research gap. Third, frameworks for great questions. Fourth, where to search. And finally, participatory action research.
All right, Section 1, the so what test, surviving the ultimate filter.
Look, I've got a bit of a tough love warning for you right out of the gate here. Failing this test means your hard work is basically destined to join the millions of unread, uncited papers published every single year. As the experts at AlphaSoft note, a thesis that fails this rapid-fire interrogation is instantly dismissed as probably not worth my time. Engaging with your paper means investing a reviewer's absolute scarcest resource, and that's their attention. They are constantly evaluating the return on investment for that attention. A strong answer to so what promises high utility, relevance, and literally compels them to keep reading.
Moving on to Section 2, finding your research gap. Where exactly will your study live?
So to actually answer so what, you have to offer originality, right? You do this by filling a very specific gap in the existing literature or professional environment. On one side, we have a practice gap. This is a real-world problem facing professionals, something like the poor adoption of a brand new health technology in a clinic. On the other side, a knowledge gap. This is where the answer to a specific theoretical question is simply unknown in the literature. Ask yourself right now, which category does your research fall into? Nailing this down early is going to save you months of wandering around in the dark.
Section 3, frameworks for great questions. Consider these your academic cheat codes.
First up is the finer criteria. Your question must be feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. It's actually kind of fascinating how many researchers completely miss the interesting and relevant components here. They focus so heavily on feasibility and ethics that they just forget to ask if the community actually cares. If your study isn't interesting and relevant, well, you've immediately failed the so what test.
Let's look at another super powerful tool, the MAPS framework. That stands for manageable, appropriate, potential value, and systematic. I really want to highlight that last point, systematic. You absolutely need to establish your research design early on for maximum power and validity. Whether you are using qualitative or quantitative methods, if your design isn't systematic, your results simply won't be publishable. No way around it.
And for those of you in evidence-based medical and clinical fields, here is the PICO criteria. This is a highly specialized tool built specifically for quantitative studies, allowing you to rigorously define your patient population, intervention, comparison, outcome, and time frame. It is pretty much the gold standard for clinical health researchers.
All right, Section 4, where to search. Verifying your idea with elite databases.
Now here is where I see the absolute biggest mistake, the Google trap. If you're starting your literature review by typing your research question into standard Google, you are wasting your time. You're getting blogs, outdated articles, and unverified data. You're losing your academic credibility before you even start. Instead, rely on the 5 elite academic databases every public health professional needs to master. First, the industry standard, PubMed. Run by the National Library of Medicine, it's the gold standard for health science. Second, Google Scholar. I know I just told you not to use Google, but Scholar is different. It's excellent for breadth and checking how many times a paper has been cited. Third, go to the Cochrane Library for high-quality, independent evidence on interventions. Fourth, Web of Science for tracing the origin of research trends and seeing who cited who. And fifth, if your public health research focuses on health education or community behavior, ERIC is your premier database.
But you know, having the right database is only half the battle. The other half is how you search. You need to use Boolean operators. This is the secret sauce. By using and to narrow your results, or to expand them, and not to clean them, like searching diabetes and adolescence, not type 1, you take your search results from 10,000 irrelevant hits down to 50 perfect matches in literally seconds.
Also, don't forget to check your university LibGuides and investigate funding agencies like the NIH or WHO to see what socially significant topics they are currently prioritizing and funding.
Section 5. Participatory Action Research. Let's talk about application in the field.
So, participatory action research, or PAIR for short, completely shifts the traditional dynamic of academic power. Instead of researchers just dropping in, extracting data, and leaving, PAR engages communities directly. It focuses on population-based public health approaches, recognizing that the people actually living with health determinants are often the best equipped to understand and address them.
What does PAR actually look like on the ground? Well, here we see community members actively engaged in a participatory mapping exercise. They aren't just test subjects, they are co-investigators. This just proves that high-level health research can, and really should, adapt academic theory into tangible action directly with the people it affects. And this methodology works across incredibly diverse global contexts. For instance, seeing community members in the Andes holding up a map they've created together really shows how local, popular knowledge systems can be beautifully integrated with scientific rigor to solve immediate practical health problems.
Now, make no mistake, this isn't just some fringe methodology. PAR is highly respected and directly backed by major global health institutions. Organizations like the World Health Organization and IDRC Canada are actively publishing and funding methods readers on participatory action research because they know for a fact that community empowerment leads to better, far more sustainable health systems.
And that brings us to our conclusion, passing the test.
To summarize, formulating a bulletproof thesis means you can't just rely on a vague idea. You need solid frameworks like Finer and MAPS. You absolutely must ditch the Google trap for elite databases like PubMed and Cochrane, and you've got to utilize those Boolean operators. And most importantly, always remember the real-world applicability of your work through methods like participatory action research. I put all 5 database links in the description below so you can bookmark them right now. Which one of these have you never used before? Let me know in the comments, and if you're ready to start reading like a pro, subscribe to VIP Vision. Next week, we're showing you how to read a 30-page article in under 10 minutes. You don't want to miss that. Keep learning, keep questioning, and see you there.